and girls, ladies and gents, welcome back. Glad you made it. It's another so-so production. Brrr. I wish I could, not actually. Well, you know what? If I were to ever go to a range, a shooting range, I'd love to just shoot one of those like old school, like I believe they're called Tommy guns. Brrr. Just one of those like with the little cylindrical. Fucking, dude, that's it. I don't know, something about that. Just target practice, but old school like gangster cars with the suicide doors. Brrr, I don't know, it's seems fun in terms of just like, going out to a range where they should have ranges with like fake ammo, and then you should be able to reenact like, was it Bloody Friday or Black Friday? When like Al Capone and them went down in Chicago and it was like a bloody day and whole intense situation, which we're not going to get into today, but I'm just saying it's just, that sounds really fun in my mind anyway, in terms of like target practice, just for like, what is this? Reenact, because like people do reenact different parts of, just for like fun. Anywho, boys and girls, ladies and gents, welcome back. Glad you made it. It is yet another social production. We're doing it on March the 22nd, 2023. I hope you're doing well wherever you are in and around this beautiful planet. If you're here in Toronto and Canada, shout out to you. If you're out there in Vancouver, BC, shout out to you. Anywhere in the middle, Saskatchewan, Alberta, a little bit further up north, Yukon, Northwest Territories, down south in the US. Further down south than that, we're going deep down into Mexico. And then all the way to the bottom of South America, taking a little dip in the old ocean, swimming all the way to Africa, climbing up top, reaching across, going into Europe, heading south in Asia, going further south in South Asia, and then moving over to the New Zealand, Australia area, and then everybody else, wherever you are. If you're on a tiny island, what's up? Thank you for joining me. If you've been with me for some time from the beginning of the show, thank you for being a part of my journey and letting me be a part of yours. Where can you find these videos? Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays on Instagram. Follow me there if you like. Subscribe on YouTube. Help out your boy. It's free. And that's when you can get the full-length videos for the full length. Because if you come on Instagram, you'll get it chopped up. That's when we slice and dice the videos, and because that's how we're able to do it for the time being. But later on down the line, things might evolve. We might even do, who knows, maybe other platforms down the line. As many platforms, platforming all around the city, all around the globe. And if there's another place that you can watch these videos or contribute back to the show if you like, fiscally that is, to see the show grow, it's patreon.com/RobSadri. Thank you very much. Otherwise, enjoy the videos for free. They're there every week. Talk about it with your friends, family members. But enough of that. Let's jazz it up. Let's have some fun. We will discuss a ton of things that I've been thinking about coming across on my radar. Silly, serious, just a mixed bag as per usual. We're like nuts, but mixed nuts. We're like a mixed bag of nuts. Trail mix, really, but a mixed bag of nuts sounds better. So we're doing it. It is Wednesday. Things are, man, where do we even begin? A lot of exciting events are happening. I believe France is, I don't know if you guys and gals have heard, but I've been seeing it little by little over the past few days, weeks. How long have we been here? It's depicting, I don't know if it's just Paris, I don't know if it's all over France. Lots of protests are going on. Parts of the city are, from what I'm seeing, covered in trash. Things are getting burnt. I don't know what they're upset about. I'm gonna say, it could be they're running low on baguettes. It could be, a little baguette, a little croissant goes a little down, or, you're like, man, red wine. It's maybe, I don't know, maybe you didn't have a good harvest this season for your grapes. Maybe there were too many dirty feet, not enough dirty grapes. Maybe that's not it at all. Maybe a little bit of, maybe you ate some bad cheese. Maybe that's it. Or maybe you ate some great cheese, and that can't be it either. It may, I don't know what it is, but it may be the rising age of pension. That might have something to do with it. I think they're asking the peepsies of France. They're asking the French folks, the government, Macron. That's the Prezi's name down there, I believe, Macron. Apparently you're supposed to work till 62 in France, from what I briefly read, and then you're supposed to get your pension, baby. You work 62 years? Time to sit back, relax, sip some wine, eat some cheese, make a little love, go out on a walk, on a trip to the old Eiffel Tower, climb the Eiffel Tower, express your love to your loved ones, your family members, maybe stick out a middle finger to your old boss that you no longer work for because you've been there for like 62 years. Shout out. And that's the question. I'm like, man, how? I took a look globally across the globe. It varies in different parts of the world, but that's what it, once you have something set in stone, or once you have something at least set somewhere, especially when it comes to like age of retirement, man, that is not something you want to be messing around with. People get, I could completely understand. I can completely understand why people are upset. Again, you might be looking, and I myself, where I was a little confused. I'm like, what is it? Is it the cheese? Is it the wine? Is it the baguettes? Is the Eiffel Tower not Eiffel Tower enough for you? But no, it's like legitimate concerns. And man, yeah, so that's, there's been an eruption there, man. I don't know what to, my heart goes out obviously, but I don't know, man. That's what happens. That's what happens when you get folks who are just out of touch with like the reality of the day to day, what it means to be a reg person. But that's what happens. I don't know. I hope, I wish everybody the best down there. I don't know if it's going to get passed and it actually increased to 64, which means, man, if you're going to be working from 62 to 64 as of now, and it wasn't a thing up until now, if it becomes just do your work extremely slow, dude. Just do it extreme. Ladies, if you're 62, you're looking forward to retiring, but now you can't. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know the deets. I don't know the nitty gritty. I don't know if it's like been passed. I don't know if it's just being tossed around, playing hot potato with the ideas. But nonetheless, man, I do wish for us to generally, as the working, and that's the thing, because that's the thing with the rise of inflation, housing market just exploding all over the world. Really, it's become so unaffordable to purchase a piece of property everywhere. Really, that's and so that's what it is. The pressure comes in. We told people to lock down for like 3 years. Everybody, took a big hit, unless you were mom and pops everywhere. At least took a big hit. Reg folk took a hit. Who didn't take a hit? Big corporations didn't take a hit. So that's that's what it is, baby. We're doing it. So people have got the right to be upset and like, I guess, going out there and doing whatever they can. I don't even know what's going on in and around the world, but I'm interested because like little things happen here, little things happen there, and we see little similarities, parallels being drawn in different variations. Of course, just need to see all this unfold. I hope everything works out. Let's go back. If we're like dealing, if you need a negotiator to get in there, if they ask you to work till 62, now they're pushing it to 64, come back there with like a 55. Be like, nah, how about we retire at 55? You know what I mean? And I myself am the type that I don't know, like I like to be able to, it's just from I guess, I don't know, legality or just like a formal sense to it all. I think there should be an age limit where you can like be like, I've done this far and I should be able to technically, if I want to, retire. Now it's completely up to you as to when you'd like to retire. I know plenty of people who retire way later in life because it keeps them whatevs. You'd like to be doing something. Everybody likes to be active, contributing this, that, and the other. But there is a sense where like, I'd rather have that choice and make that decision on myself and not have to be dealing with the burden of inflation. Again, housing crises in terms of how unaffordable everything is, in terms of goods and services being extremely expensive nowadays. Everything's gone up, and little by little we see ramifications of this as well. Interest rates go up, the banks start to feel depressed. They're like, man, no money's in here. They start to go sour, and all of a sudden you're like, what's going on? And little by little things could be happening that are seemingly unrelated, but might at the same time be, again, work in accord with one another, i.e. bringing in the old, what I've been paying attention to as of late, that's also been popping on my mind. I'm like, what else is going to be, what's all this preparing us for? A little bit of a minor, or major actually, it's not minor, it's, bank failures here, there, everywhere. Happens little by little. Will it escalate and go deep down further into even more bank collapses? If so, what is this preparing us for? Could this again be little seedings of thoughts or plans rather to bring in some sort of I've been hearing this term as of late, CBDC, baby. What's CBDC? CBDC. Let's break it down. CBDC. It should be self-explanatory because like the C is there, the B is there, D's there, and the C's there again. CBDC. I believe that's like in the works. It's definitely in the works in some regions of the world. Centralized banking digital currency. CBDC. Sounds like a, I like the catchiness of it. It does sound catchy. Like, oh, let's get some CBDC. Sounds like a little bit of like, I'm not sure if I want to smoke that or I'm not sure if I want to listen to it. CBDC. Yo, you down with that CBDC? Like, it comes off as like, again, do we roll it up? Do we put it in a pipe? Is it found on Spotify? What is it? Centralized banking digital currency is kind of, I see it and I've been reading a little bit about it. It's been implemented in parts of China. If not, I don't know to what extent it's being implemented in places like Nigeria. I believe some other African nations are also dabbling, experimenting. And it's essentially the removal of physical, tangible monies altogether, little by little. And you'll see this happening in different formats, whether it's through the banks collapsing, whether it's through the de-evaluation of your money, your whatever currency that you deal with, devaluation. So let's say, you no longer see a penny, you no longer might be seeing a nickel, but it works both ways. The penny might go away one day. Next day, you wake up and it's like the 1950s or 1960s and you're all around handling all sorts of bills, big bills, not just, 20s and 50s, but I'm talking $100 bill here. Or maybe you might even go crazy. It's 1950s, 1960s or some time ago and you're rolling around carrying a cash, wad of cash filled with not just hundreds, but maybe $500 bills or even $1,000 bills. But from little by little, you see them disappear to no longer will a man or a woman just walk in and be like, let me slap $1,000 bill, because they've been slowly but surely being kind of like, you don't see it anymore. And like the denomination gets smaller and smaller from both sides, little by little, with the help of the increase of the inflation. You're feeling inflammatory, essentially. You're getting inflated. It might be allergy season, it might just be inflammation. I don't know what it is, man, but it's happening from a different angle, and it's neat to see it all unravel. And yeah, man, and I just wonder what will be, how do we deals with this? How do we deals with it and not just like recognize what it is, that it is what it is that it not only introduces concepts of CBDC, but also it'll come with partners. CBDC doesn't roll alone, fam. CBDC comes along with other ideologies such as smart cities. Smart cities, that's a new term as well. Smart cities, because back in the day it was just like reg cities, fam. Why do you need your smart cities? Why do you need why do you need a city to be smart? I'm fine with my reg cities that are like, I don't need some sort of like Ivy League school educated cities that are, or whatever. I don't need some sort of like super genius cities, smart city. What is it? Smart cities. It's where everything's connected through the it's digitally connected. It's like combination of using AI, combination of using biometrics, combination of using mass surveillance, and combination of coming in with that monetary system that it's all digital. It's friggin' analog, baby. It's not analog, it's digital. We'd like to keep it analog. We like to keep the fiscals a little bit tangible. Hopefully, because that gives you a little bit of leeway. You want to be like, man, let me be the one in charge of me and my monies. Because that's when it comes down to it, everybody wants to just be like preparing to take care of themselves, their family, mi familia, and your hoes and bitches at the end of the day. And your hoes and bitches want to be taking care of you at the end of the day. You don't want to be like, man, I can't be taking care of my bitches with CBDC. It's like, because then it gets tricky. And vice versa. Your bitches be like, and not to say this is, again, I'm just like looking out for everybody out here. Because let's say up until now, SEALs, Navy SEALs, okay, not Navy SEALs, but SEALs that are in water, the animal. They're in water. They're called SEALs. They're naval. But we're talking about the animals, right? The male SEAL will, grow larger and larger. And by the time it's fully mature, it'll be twice the size of the female SEAL, right? So up until now, it's been just like, I'm gonna get out here and do nature. I'm gonna just seal around. And what do SEALs do? SEALs, basically, the task of a SEAL as a male, females have a task as well. For nature, it's all about like reproduction and getting ready for the next gen and what have you. But the male's job is to essentially come on shore every year, year by year, and try to get fat, try to get to a shore, try to roll around, try to come on shore and just yell for a few minutes, get some fish in the sea, come on shore, just yell a little bit, little by little. It works like incremental yelling. That's how they like exude their dominance to one another and try to be like, just on it when you had a full belly worth of fish and you just like go on shore, seal around, you yell a little bit, try to get the other fellow's attention, and because little by little you're aging. You're 1-year-old seal, no big deal. Like, oh, look at that cute little seal trying to just like come and yawn a little bit, if anything. Year 2 goes by, all the way up to year 6, 7, and 8, and every year you're getting bigger and bigger, baby boy. But it's still not time for you to mate, because mating is purely dominated by like the top seals in nature, if you will. From what I was reading, only the top 4% get to mate, and they do that between the ages of like 10 to 12, if they make it that far. Because once you get around 6, 7, 8, that's when the male population starts to plummet, almost in half in comparison to the female population. Why? Because they've been eating fish for years, swimming, and your only task is to get up there and get on a shore after you've been swimming, working out, eating them fish, and just yell a little bit and be like, who can yell the loudest as a seal, so to attract not just the females, but also let the fellows know, what's up, baby, you want to seal it up, let's seal a deal. Because it's not just like they don't mate just with one. It's basically, the term that I came across was beachmaster. You'd like to achieve a full beachmaster by the time you're like 10 or 12 as a SEAL, and the ladies are just prepared, waiting in groups, up to 100 times, up to 100 at a time. So it's like, they call it like SEAL harems, and that's how it works. And like the fish, if you will, is the currency of the SEALs, and they eat the SEALs, and the bigger you get, the bigger that your chance is of succeeding in mating and procreating, and then swimming off after the age of 12, 13 into the sunset, and hopefully dying a slow and natural death, or getting eaten ass first by an orca. Either or, it could go either way. Really, it's a circle of life. But the point is that you have something tangible that's within your, at least you got like a chance. You can go out there, it's tangible, the fish, it's physical. You can grab the fish, put it in your face hole, fatten up, come just on the shore, and just try to short hands and just a lot of yelling, try to affirm your dominance there. But that's what it is, man. It's no different than the fish being taken away from the seal and them having to resort to a CBDC. It's exactly like that. It's no different, because now, what even is CBDC? It's not there. You don't have access to this. Where's your fish? Oh, you only get a certain number of fish. Oh, I don't like the way I don't like the way you're expressing yourself. I'm gonna have to take away some fish, fella. Next thing you know, you're like, man, but I needs the fats to like fucking, It's a rough world out there, is what I'm trying to say. Whether you're a SEAL and you're trying to, start a family, or whether you're a human being sealing in and around this world, man. So CBDC, smart cities, and biometrics, these are the things that are little by little being introduced in certain locations of the earth. And at the same rate, we are hit with other crises, most of which are man-made, most of them, and that's what it is, baby. A little distraction here, a little bit more implementation of trying to get you to become even better consumers, but at the same rate, you got to keep in mind there's got to be a balance to this. Like, consumption is good. Consumption leads to innovation, because we want the better things in life. I want the better things in life. You want the better things in life. Hence all the things that we surround ourselves with on a daily. But at a certain point, you got to be like, man, when does the 62-year-old get to sit back, sip on some wine, and eat some dirty cheese? And you're like, no, man. A dollar isn't what it used to be. You're gonna have to work till 64. Next thing you know, it's 65. Next thing you know, it's 66. And sure, the argument of longevity comes in. You're like, well, humans are living longer. But yes, humans in general are living longer. But not everyone's access to resources is the same. And I'm not saying that it should be equal all around, but I'm just saying there's a vast difference in terms of having access to resources. One of the biggest things that provides longevity is a lack of stress. The silent killer that nobody talks about, lack of stress. They say money doesn't buy happiness, but I'm pretty sure it reduces stress, i.e. longevity. Fucking i.e. longevity right there. But that's the thing. We live in a world where, you want that balance. You want a little bit of you want the government to be there to do their job. Don't fuck up the banking system. Don't raise the interest rates too high. Make sure that we're not just frivolously spending money elsewhere, where we should be investing on ourselves, on our bodies, minds, and souls, man. So that's what I'm saying, fam. I've been reading a little bit about that, and it's just does it happen? Because you read it, you hear it. Does it happen in China? Does it happen in Nigeria? Does it happen in different parts of the world? It may be it's just happening there, but little by little you'll see companies that'll come by. Our companies come by and do the same thing in different variations and try to get sneaky with it. I was reading an article, if I'm not mistaken, Amazon Go, which I don't know what it is, because for me, up until now, it's Amazon Come. Yeah? I've never Amazon gone anywhere. I've Amazon came. Amazon came. I order, Amazon came. I don't know what Amazon Go is, but apparently it's whatevs. Certain locations, they've opened up what are deemed to be as Amazon Go. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's an Amazon store. Maybe it's an Amazon store in a factory. Maybe you'll find yourself walking in an area and then you start manufacturing goods and services and then selling it to yourself all in the same spot. Maybe you're sewing shoes and you happen to buy the same shoes. Amazon Come and Go. And whilst you do that, I need you to scan your palm for a second. Let me just scan your retina or your facial features, your bodily movement, and get all your biometrics data, fam, just to be like, man, what kind of information is this fella or lady into, and how could I sell them more stuff? And yes, there's particular stuff that you'll be like, man, I searched for sunglasses one time and now I get a ton of advertising for sunglasses, but I do search for other stuff as well. So I'm just wondering why the algorithms never. Our task becomes, how do we reverse engineer the algorithm to essentially work for us? Because you walk outside, you don't even know, a store might just be collecting your data because back in the day, CCTV was just for a particular event. Should it occur, if something were to go awry, let's say, you could look back at the tape, rewind the tape, and hopefully the security wasn't missing. Hopefully the suspect didn't end up suiciding themselves, even though they were, bunking with a giant bodybuilder who's jacked to the gills with all the juice. The juice is actually consuming the bodybuilder just to fucking, you know what I mean? It's point is, you'd hope that the CCTV is there and working and not conveniently missing tapes when things do go sideways. But new innovation comes in, new tech comes in, CCTV's tight. We're gonna just keep it tighter now. We're gonna we're gonna figure out your bodily movements. You're gonna figure out your facial recognition stuff, and oh, look at that face. Where's that face going? What's that? Where are those eyes staring? What product is he focusing on? What products is she focusing on? So all we gotta do as the average reg citizen, so to get the algorithms and the biometrics and the CBDC to work for us, because they have capabilities, ladies and gentlemen. They have the capability of taking the average folks person while simultaneously erasing the middle class but getting us to work more for less and consume more with less. So we know that the CBDC, we know that the algorithms, we know that the AI, we know that the biomet, they're capable of taking information and essentially using it against us to consume more, and but with control. You know, it'll just be like so what we got to do, I've been thinking about this. I'm like, how do we reverse engineer this bad boy? Start just, you know, search for how do we if more people search things like, I don't know, reverse engineer the AI, so to instead of take my give me the money, instead show me the money, essentially, instead of because right now it's got taking your money capabilities. I say, like, just reverse that. If we could somehow, and I haven't thought about it that much, so I'd like everybody, if you could read a couple of, you know, whatever that you're reading, read a couple of books or articles, inform yourself, and then come leave a comment, make a video of how can we get these AI robot technologies to work for us rather than against us. So how do we like reverse jujitsu that bad boy? Because it's got taking money capabilities, but the money's always been taken into one direction, i.e. the bank direction. If we could just reverse that bad boy, like, because I'd like to know if anything, I want to be listening on big tech, dude, because like big tech has always been listening to us, and they've been ramping it up, and we love them and we hate them at the same time. It's a love-hate relationship, because we love to use them. Of course, it's so great to be able to Goog something real quick, googly goo, right there, and boom, the answer's there. Don't you feel great? All of a sudden you're well informed. And I say that term loosely when I say well informed, because gosh darn it, it's so hard to be well informed. You can get informed, you know what I mean? You can get informed, you can get outformed, in and out of form, baby. But the point is, so we got to start. I'm gonna start listening to Googles, man. Because the Googles be listening to us, and it comes in, you're searching for this thing, I don't know, all of a sudden there's like 10 mil, or you're not even searching, where you might just like be taking a deuce in the bathroom and be thinking about your next trip or your next meal, and all of a sudden you've been just, you know, saying it out loud, maybe to somebody nearby, and where should we go in whenever's, you know, and then all of a sudden 2 minutes later, oh, you check out this flight 50% off. So hence the listening, so they know they're good at listening. It's just how do we reverse that back? So we start listening to, I want to start listening to Googles. I want to start listening to Facebooks. What do they want? What makes them tick? What makes you, and then sell them stuff, fam. And that's biometric the Googles, biometric the Facebooks, biometric the biometric. Reverse it. Flip it and reverse it. I think that's the way to go. You know, oh, Mr. Big Tech, oh, what do you want? Is that do you want a laptop? Sell them a laptop. Big Tech, classic tech. You want a USB? Right there. You want all the memory space? Right there. Who likes memory space, Googles? And all the other platforms. The Google's just an example of Google, of course. But, you know, all I'm saying is, you know, it's like, how to reverse it, I think this is the way to go. Or, you know, yeah, I don't know how to CBDC, baby, because it'd be like, man, it's hard to be fly on a CBDC. There's something about a man or a lady just walking in somewhere and just taking out a dirty roll of cash and just smacking it on the table, just whatever you want to buy right there. Rubber bands. Right there, rubber bands. Take out and then start lick your fingers and start counting, baby. Fecal matter to your fingers, to my face, to your face. Now we're just passing around, and that's how you keep the immune system going. But they don't want you to be licking fecal matter off of dollar bills, y'all. They want you to keep your fecal matter all to yourself and then become fecal matter dependent, and then have to go 20, 30 years without being exposed to little minimal fecal matter, which never really hurt anyone. And then all of a sudden you found yourself in a shortage of fecal matter, and now you're gonna have to go to a pharmaceutical to buy somebody else's fecal matter in pills and eat the fecal matter, so to work the old digestive tract. So to get the good, you want the good, baby, pilled up fecal matter. I'm like, you know what? Let me lick a doorknob. Let me just, I want to lick my thumb and count the bills. If I'm going to be consuming fecal matter, that is. You know, but that's just how I feel about it. How do you guys and gals feel about it? Boys and girls, it is exciting. So many things are happening. It is Wednesday. So wherever you see, you know what it is? We walk out with like, have reflective stuff on your body. So like when the cameras hit you, you're reflected back, and that's what it is. It's just, and it goes in a loop and starts getting information on itself, sells products to itself. Just little pieces. I'm thinking the future is people walking around with mirrors just to reflect. You know what I mean? Because I've seen it, shirts that are, you know, designed quote unquote to not be easily detected whilst on camera. I'm sure someone's, but that's the thing. I don't want to be covering my face or nothing evers, because that just gives me the heebie-jeebies along with the CBDCs. No thank you, sir. No thank you, ma'am. Not for this guy. Probably not for you out there either. Hopefully, when you see the CBDC, and then this is the CBDC. That's the CBDC, because when it comes to the monies, a little fecal matter goes a long way. Am I right, everybody? But the point is, ladies and gentlemen, that it is Wednesday. And from small stories to large stories, we try to discuss everything that we can together and have fun with it. A fun little story happened here in the city, in the GTA, the Greater Toronto Area. Brampton, a little bit, 20, 30 minutes maybe drive from where I am right now. A fella, I believe he was in his 30s. It wasn't even like a young fella. The fella went into the old driver's testing facility so to, I guess, get his license. Upon completing his testing, his instructor told him that he failed, but instead of, like, you know, exiting as people do normally and, you know, maybe booking an appointment to come back later and redo the test, he decided to, he's like, this is how it went down in my mind, because this actually happened. This actually happened. So, you know, I'm the instructor. We'll play both characters right now. I'm the instructor. Let's just call him Johnny for the sake of calling him Johnny. Hey, Johnny boy, I noticed that you didn't, you're a good driver. You're a good driver, great driver. But today I'm going to have to, unfortunately, because you did, you sped up on the old yellow, orange light, and you crossed into the red, like you crossed the yellow light and you passed into the red light. So there's that. Did not make a full stop at the stop sign. I'm gonna have to remind you that when you see a stop sign, you're gonna have to stop. Okay, 3 seconds. And also when switching lanes, it'd be nice to, you know, just signal. You know what I mean? Just signal a little bit. And so, you know, overall, you're just missing a couple of points here and there. I'm pretty sure if you just go back, think it over, maybe get a couple of practice rounds, come in next time whenever you like, and I'm sure you can pass the exam and have your license. Upon hearing something like that, our driver, Johnny Road Rage, decided to hear all that, compute it, and then he's like, let me show you this then. And then he's like putting it in reverse, putting it in drive, shifting gears. He apparently did donuts, and I believe it went like this then. So like I say this to you as the instructor, I'm unfortunately gonna have to fail you. Oh yeah, they'll fail this. And then it all of a sudden turns into Fast and the Furious. But now we're drifting. Now we're doing donuts in the parking lot, baby. You wanna see some donuts? And I'm like, no man, I got another fella I gotta instruct. I'm doing donuts. And I nearly wipe out 4 people, nearly kill 4 people, and after I parked the car and everybody's just like, whoa, what the fuck? I'm like, did I pass now? Huh? You know what I mean? Because like, if you pay attention, the hero of the story really is the driver, because the story goes he came close to killing 4 people. He did donuts. Upon failing his test, donuts and burnouts or something, and almost killed 4. So he has the capability of drifting really close or doing donuts really without hitting somebody, which I think speaks for his skills, which is what we're looking for when we're driving in reg streets. All right? Somebody who's willing to be like, I can, because it's easy to do donuts, and like if he wiped 4 or 5 people out, then like don't give him a license. But the fact that he can do donuts and not hit anyone, this just makes me more confident in knowing that he probably will be applying for his permit within 30 days. I think that's what I read, which is lovely, you know, because that's what the roads need. You know what I'm talking about? So the GTA is alive and kicking as per usual. We are approaching spring, summertime. I'm not too, like, there are certain areas in our beautiful, wonderful, large city, there are certain parts where you might find yourself in certain seasons driving up, and different peoples would pull up with their cars, and it does certain locations where it's like, oh, are we in Fast and 527, baby? Feels like that in some areas. I don't know. It gets broken up. I've driven by it a few times accidentally. You don't want to get, it's wild is all I'm saying. And yes, so it is spring, summer season. And yes, if you fail your driver's exam, why don't you go ahead and do a donut? I'm sure that'll get you the permit in no time. Point is, ladies and gentlemen, that we do have lots of great things happening in and around the world, such as, give me a second, cake farts. Cake farts. Cake farts. I didn't even know this was a thing, but apparently it is a thing. How did I come across it? Just as I come across anything else. Cake farts. I'm a fan of cakes. I'll tell you that. First of all, before we get into it, I like a cake. I like a good cake. A good chocolate cake, I'll consume. Double chocolate, I'll consume. We're doing Black Forest, double chocolate, Black Forest, double chocolate, topped off with a little bit more extra chocolate. I'll eat it. I like cake. Farts. I'm okay with my own fart, I'll tell you that. Should a lover happen to fart? Completely okay with that too. But now, apparently, there is a thing called cake farts, where a lady would grab a cake, a beautiful cake, sit on it, and fart on it. And it's called cake farts. That's a thing that people do. I didn't even know it's a thing. It's like a thing amongst so many other things that are out there being things on a daily. But cake farts, man, I didn't even know this is a thing, because who doesn't love a good cake? And who doesn't love farts? Seriously, it's like the best. It's underrated, it's underappreciated. Farts, not just for the sake of, yes, you're relieving bodily exertions that are just like making you uncomfortable for whatever reasons, gas, air, queef, let it out. Point is, it goes back to prehistoric times. The first jokes were fart jokes. The first sounds that we made, people say the first noises that we make are babies no, it's queefing, it's farting. That's the first sound that you make as a human. One of the first, if not the first, top 5, top 10 for sure. Okay, so it's like really underappreciated. It's nobody talks. But now, cake farts I found is a thing. So I don't know how it works. And I don't know if it's just specific to, from what I read, I don't know if it's just specific for ladies. I don't know if the ladies do it for themselves to have a cake fart fest. Like, is that a thing that ladies do for themselves? Or is it a thing that you do for your lover? Or is it how does that work? And then what happens to the cake? Is that cake technically, are we doing this all in the nude? Or is it, I'm pretty sure there's levels to this. Like, you could probably, like, if your pants are still on you and you're farting over a cake, well, you gotta sit on it. So you're gonna have to spend money on dry cleaning. Or it's gonna be a long day doing laundry at your place. One of those two. So, the option 1, do you go pants first, which is like the Y. Next step is naked butt on the cake, farting on the cake, but then, like, do you sit on it and fart down and just like, because that ruins the cake. Or do you kneel down on your knees? Are you like in a doggy position, let's say, cake to the ass, and then fart out of the cake or into the cake? And I don't know. I just read about it. I haven't seen anything too much, like, I don't know what people do, but I am interested. Maybe I would assume if we were to actually apply this, I'm going to assume there's a lady on all fours, doggy, cake on butt, ready to fart, man or other lady, whoever the partner is, face in cake, ready to be cake farted. I think that's essentially the circle completing itself, which is, man, I don't know what to think of that. It's, both are good separately. Consumed together, it might be like, I don't know how that works. Do you eat the cake? Do you eat the cake once, like, the farted? Don't eat the cake before, because then you'll ruin the surprise. But if you eat the cake after though, that's what I'm. Because here's the thing too, like I'm all for like I've never like really dabbled in like food and the. I don't mix too much of the old like food and like food is food, thing is thing what it is. You know what I mean? But like it's just because like I do remember one time like talking to a chick online. We're just like I believe I briefly mentioned this portion of this particular story maybe one more time, but I'm not terribly good at like dirty talking or like sending texts like that are dirty. It doesn't work. So she was like, do dirty talking to dirty talk. And like, I love Nutella. And I went like, man, something along the lines of, I'd like to, put some Nutella on your vag and eat it up. And she came back with a response, which I can't really recollect 100%, but something along the lines of, man, you don't know anything about vages. That's going to give me a yeast infection. I was just like going back and trying to like, be like, just saying, I like Nutella. It's in my peripheral vision all the time. It was like right there. And I eat it, and you said dirty, and I don't. So I said, put a little bit of Nutella on that veg, and I'll eat it up. And she's like getting all technical and like, you don't know anything about vages, and like I don't know everything about vages, but I like to think that like you don't, and I'm not gonna unless you want me to like Nutella on the veg, like if that. But that's the thing, if it gives you yeast infection, if with that same knowledge being out there. Like if you let it settle, I'm sure it will give you a yeast. But like if a quick little like a little bit of Nutella, a little bit of I'm there cleaning it up, it should be fine technically. But then the cake fart situation, that also is a peculiar little conundrum, because does one risk getting a yeast infection of sorts having cake on your cooch? You know what I'm saying? So but like ladies, gents, and I don't know, that's just what I'm reading. I don't even know if it's just a ladies thing. What if guys do it? I'm already like, to each their own. I'm not saying don't cake fart, but like, nah. It's it's nah. It's just like I don't care. Even if you do find it, like, yeah, if you're even like, it's not even about anything else other than the fact that like, a dude farting and regular by itself is what it is. But then into food, I just like, no. But lady farting in a cake, a little bit of farting in a cake. Something to think about, ladies and gentlemen. Do not, don't go out there and like, well, do whatever you like. Do whatever you're doing in life. I'm not here to tell anybody how to live their life. That's for sure. I'll tell you that. That's for damn sure. I'll tell you that. So there's a lot of things out there, man. You never know. You might be into, maybe you're a cake fart. Man, I'd like to speak with you if you're a cake farter out there. Like, I wonder if there is a professional cake farter out there just taking like, you got all excited and like, oh, let me get a special cake for my baby boo, and you have somebody deliver it, and you open the door and they're like, is this Lisa? And she's all like, oh my god, yes it is, it's Lisa. And then boom, somebody's on all fours farting into a cake. Your boy sent you this. Happy Valentine's Day. I don't know how that'll go. Maybe that's the future, man. Maybe that's the future. Maybe I'm just a dreamer. Who knows? Baby boys, baby girls, it is Wednesday. Whilst we're on the subject of, I guess, a little bit of the old, a little bit of, we're trekking in neighborhoods of the naughtiness, let's say. We're feeling a little bit in the neighborhoods of the naughty right now. And not that there's nothing naughty about it or anything like that, but I guess it does, whatever. We're talking about hand versus feet fetish. I don't have either. If your toes are cute, if they're clean, should the occasion arise, I'll suck on a couple of toes. I'm not gonna lie. Couple of toes, right there. You know what it is. But never full feet though. Never full feet. It's just like too much. Couple of cute toes, fine. So be it. Hands, never been like and either hands or feet. I can't. But like if you were to choose, if you were like, again, hypothetical stitch, gun to your head, katana to your nutsacks or your labia, you had to pick. For whatever odd reason, you had to pick. You were gonna get stuck with one of these for the rest of your life. Would you pick a hand fetish or a foot fetish? A hand fetish is, I guess, more accessible. I'll tell you that, because like you could be technically like fully fetishizing hand, and out and about, you're just walking about because hands are out there. You could just see hands. You could just see hands. And you somebody you're at your workstation typing away. Oh, Harry's got nice fingers. Oh, Janine's the typist of this ballroom. She's the quickest typist in all the typing room machines. Typing with her fingers, and you're like, man, those fingers. So it's accessible. There's that factor. Hands, however, are, hands are a dime a dozen, really, because they're so available. Because once something is available, that's probably why it's not a fetish as much as maybe feet are, from what I hear. Because like if you're exposed to hands all day, every day, palm of this guy's hand, palm of that lady's hand. Oh, let me see your hand. Touch my hand. High five. Everybody's high fiving from a young age too, so you're so exposed to it all the time. It's not a big deal. You're like, high five, low five, fist it, fist it. You're always used to fisting. So hands are norms. But the feet, I can imagine them having a little bit more allure to them, having a little bit more like sense of like mystery, like whoa, because you never know what do someone's feet really look like until you see them without socks. Like, because people outside, if you're walking, you just see shoes, you don't see feet. So there's that potential, like, I wonder what kind of feet they got. You know what I mean? Do they have webbed toes? Do they have a flat, and feet, the variation of feet, flat-footed, or do they have a little arc? Are you working with an arc, or are you flat-footed? And which is more desirable? Do you want the flat foot, or do you want the arc? Is this sexy? Oh, does this turn you on, or does this turn you on? Which does this do it for you, or is it this right here? And like, what if you go too flat and it's like inverted? Or you get kinky with it, like they did back in, like, I believe it was, I'm not sure if they did the tying of the feet. I believe that was, I want to say some parts of China, they used to do that as like a way of like making it look aesthetically pleasing. But again, times change. I'm not here to be like, every place on the earth has its things that we've done collectively, and as a human species, we do things that are, for the time, maybe, deemed or even admired as the objects of beauty, or parts of, oh, that lady's got feet that are like crab legs. She's got crab legs, just like, these are my feet. But how sexy is this, fam? At one point or another, a whole mass of people thought this for legs, for feet, which I'm not judging. It's just curious as to why though. Is it the shape of it? Is it aesthetically, or because, like, man, once you got this down, they're not going anywhere. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard to make a run for it if you're working with these for feet. Look at my feet. But that's just, but I'm not saying, like, maybe that was at the time friggin' hot and sexy, dude. Or, but that's what it is. So if it came out like I wonder if ever, is there anywhere in the world where they've done webbed hands, or like, tied knotted hands, and somebody's just like little nubbins, like, for hands, because, like, generationally somebody thought, man, we should be more like this. Because who wants this? This is, ew. You know what it is? It's probably some, like, it probably worked like this. It probably was a king, somebody in high status, like high top tier society, higher echelon society, who probably looked like that. But because everybody else was like loosey goosey with all their limbs and just like going, friggin' some people were even ambidextrous, fucking going out there with the 2 hands, 2 thumbs, just fucking picking things up. And he was tired of it, and he's like, you know what, that's ugly, fam. That is ugly. We're gonna go in there, and everybody should look like me, man. Cause this is what you want to look like, man. Just because you know how they'd be all like, back in the day, kings and like queens, they thought it was like ordained by God, so they're like, this is what the human body should be like, man. So I bet you that's how it started. Probably, like, you know what I mean? Different people, we do different things. But are you into, so would you rather be, I would rather, if I had to pick though, man, it's actually tough, because if you had to pick, I'm gonna go feet, dude. I'm gonna go feet for the sake of just because, like, again, hands it would just be too frequently viewed by everyone, so it can't. I'd have to really work to be like, yes, oh, show me them hands, you know what? But like feet, again, because I don't know what you're working with, that could potentially be like, yes, feet are mysterious. It's a thing. It could become a thing. But you know, whether you're into cake farts, whether you are into a hand fetish or a foot fetish, or whether you're just like not into any fetish, that's completely cool as well. I don't particularly have any strong feelings towards any. I do enjoy. I've said this before. I'll say it again. A nice bush, dude. Little au natural. But that's not even anything like. You know. Maybe one day I'll become a foot guy. Maybe one day I'll become a like fucking heavy foot guy, dude. Just like. But yeah, again, a man, former boy turned man as of recent years, could dream, could have, so many things could happen. You never know. Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, it's incredible. I mean, like, there's so many wonderful things happening in and around the world constantly. I'm glad to be here amongst you folks, you beautiful people out there doing it, you sexy bitches out there, ladies and gents, brothers and sisters, cousins. We're doing it, man. We're doing it one step at a time. And today is Wednesday, so I hope that whether you are at work, I hope you're closing in the laptop real quick. Just take a few moments for yourself, because you're going to be, if you're in France, especially in France, too, you're going to be, might be working a little longer. So I'm just saying, close the old laptop. Maybe, actually open the laptop. You don't need the laptop. Open your phone. Put on the program. Come get a couple of laughs. And then let's together think of ways so to reverse certain things, or at least like, because there are certain things that I'm genuinely like, man, how do we nip it in the bud? How do we take care of it? Because like you do see it happening in other places, and it could be a little bit, but one day at a time. As long as we're talking about it, as long as I think we're a little bit more aware of things, I don't know. Hopefully, together, I do believe. I'm an optimist. I'm also a realist. Glass half full mentality is all I say. Baby boys, baby girls, where can you find these videos? Once again, I'm so happy to be here with you. Thank you for being a part of my life. Thank you for, just sharing this experience together is really neat. And I hope to see more people outside, hopefully, in due time. And we'll be going places. We'll be doing things together, learning, having fun, and growing, essentially. Baby boys, baby girls, we can tune in every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday is where you can get these videos. If you're on Instagram, follow me there if you like. That's again where you get the chopped up portions or parts of the videos. All the parts are there. It's just I have to chop it up. In case you were wondering, why do you chop it up on Instagram? Maybe it's your first time, because that's the way it allows me to work right now. Other than that, if you want to check out the videos in full length, you can go to gladyamadeit or search Rob Sadri on YouTube. Subscribe to my channel. Help your boy grow his channel along with you. I hope you're growing everywhere in every direction as well. And if you'd like to give back a little bit more, well, there's a place where it's called patreon.com/Rob Sadri. Otherwise, I have nothing but, just fucking, good vibrations and positive thoughts, sending it out your way. And I'll be back here again on Friday. In the meantime, talk about it. Love you all. Peace out.